Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel, an editorial discussion for 15th April 2022. My name is Harsh Singh, and in this video we shall discuss an editorial from the Live Mint which is titled Needed an Economic Reboot for Rapid Employment Heavy Growth. If you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments and subscribes. Let's begin. The editorial shows with the help of a graph the increase in production of goods and services in the country. This is the last decade when we saw not only increase in the production but growth rate in the production until there was COVID. During COVID times, the production declined and the growth rate in fact became negative. So this year, the editorial says if we see higher growth rate, it is only because of the low base effect. Otherwise, you would be seeing a downtrend in the production and growth rate both. In any case, we have seen more number of goods and services being produced. And in the common parlance, if there is more production, more economic rigor, it should mean that it has also produced more of employment. This is what should be the scenario. But this is not actually true in our country. It is not true is shown with the help of growth elasticity graph. Growth elasticity of employment means has the growth rate in production resulted in more employment or not? That is, growth in employment with relative to growth in GDP. Now, this second graph shows very well that India was in a different state in the last decade of the 20th century. In the last decade, there was zero point 0.4 level of growth elasticity of employment, but as and when we started seeing more of growth in the country, the growth elasticity of India reduced in comparison to Bangladesh and Vietnam. That means we are having jobless growth in the country. This is very much indicated through this graph of growth elasticity of employment. So please remember this important term, growth elasticity of employment, which is only decreasing with increased production in the country. The editorial goes on to say that there are two important things that are required. One is GDP growth, and the second one is employment growth in the country. And you would be surprised to know that out of 3 crore people seeking employment in India and were still unemployed, there was a high proportion of young workers, youth workers. So India is going through a situation in which the youth is unemployed rather than the elder persons, youth between the age of 15 to 29. And it is not just about the unskilled youth. The people who are graduates, tech graduates, technical graduates, they are also unemployed. And who more can understand this as compared to people who are preparing for exams, and we know this very well that there are very few seats to find. India is a country which employs many people in unskilled or low skilled jobs. 90% of Indians are getting employed in no skill or low skill jobs, and only 10% skill are being utilized in the high skill jobs. So what is required are two things. One is skills for people, and the second one is employability for the youth who are graduates but not getting employed. And we need this at global standards so that companies from abroad can also hire Indians. Now, as and when people started to move away from agriculture as a sector which employs more than 50% of India's youth, India's population, there was a slowdown in manufacturing. Second half of the last decade, and after that there were repeated COVID shocks, first wave, second wave, third wave, and external demand also decreased because the COVID waves in other countries were at different times. Over and above, we have Russia and Ukraine war further impeding the growth process and increasing the inflation in the country. All this has led to death of the small business owners. And this is where editorial says that there is a plan in which we can work out things. In the mid run, if the number of people in India are unskilled, that's not a problem. You can shift the low skilled or unskilled people to construction sector in India. And in service sector, the sectors like trade, hotel, transportation, they can be the one which can absorb the people from agriculture sector. See, India is a developing country and India needs a lot of construction in the country, and construction sector is employment intensive, and that is why in the midterm, even if people do not have skills, they can be employed in construction, trade, hotel and transportation. So that's the way out. But in the long run, if we want good employment, good remuneration, good salaries for people, we will have to provide skilled jobs to the people at the global standards. And once people have skilled jobs, they will be employed in good sectors, and this will further initiate and spur more of growth, because these people will start demanding food. These people will start demanding real estate, various services, products, and forward and backward linkage will lead to India's growth. So in long term, provide skills. In the short term, shift people to industry sector in construction and service sector. A very, very valuable insight. Another valuable thing that the editorial says, that many Indians are employed in the industry sector in the country and higher than the global norms, and fewer than the average is employed in the service sector. It is there because India is a growing country, so more construction is happening, and therefore more absorption in construction sector and industry is there in India. On the other hand, there are fewer jobs available in India's service sector. That is because we have exploited only high value service sector in the country. For example, information technology enabled services, for example, financial services, professional services. All these are high end jobs which create lesser employment and more revenue. So therefore, in the long run, what is required is to produce more skills in the country, and in the short run, what is required is to translate people from agriculture to specific sectors like construction and some specific sectors of the service sector like trade, hotel, and transportation. Do remember this. Now, a small question for you people. Mention 4 reasons for less jobs for semi-skilled and skilled labor force in the country. Name 5 industries which could augment, that is increase employment in India. Exercise your thumbs and a little of your mind, and this will be a great exercise for you. Now, in case there are questions and doubts, please put them down in the comment section, and we will ensure to get back to you. If you like this initiative, share some love through likes, shares, and subscribes. Thank you for watching.